Let's start with your interview. And Ram, first of all, let's start with your introduction. Introduce yourself.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Nagar. I was born and brought up from Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. Actually, I have done my graduation, that is Bachelor of Technology, and my Master of Technology, that is my post graduation, both from IIT Kharagpur, from Electrical Engineering Department. My Master of Technology was in the specialization of instrumentation and signal processing. Yeah. So throughout that, actually, I had worked on various projects and all those things. I had done my Bachelor of Technology thesis and my Master of Technology thesis, both in the machine learning area. And yeah,
See, Ram, you have a very good academic background. Plus, I can see here you have around you just work for an internship for 2 months. It was just, this was the duration of the internship or you left in between?
actually, it was a compulsory internship in our. It was part of our college curriculum only. So it was supposed to be only of 2.2 and 2.5 months. So that's why it was like that, because after that we have to join again the campus and start with the new semester itself. So that internship was a part of college curriculum itself. They had the credits also for that purpose. Yeah.
All right. So that means after 2017, do you have any other work experience?
So, yeah. So actually, after 2018, when I had received my degree, actually I was preparing for civil services post that time, and for 3.5 hours, so for 3.5 years, I was preparing for that. And the April itself, in this year only, I had joined as an imaging scientist at Sun Pharmaceuticals in Thane, Maharashtra.
Where Thane?
Yeah, Thane, Maharashtra. Yeah.
All right. So, what's your total experience as of now?
It's only 3 months, you can say that, because I joined in April only, and that it has not been mentioned on my DAF also, because
See,
the DAF
Ram,
was submitted
first of
before that.
all, a candidate who has such a good academic background and who is also working in a field which is also associated with your academic background. Why you want to move to this organization which don't have anything to do with your academics or your work experience?
Okay. So as such, the EPFO organization is one of the most premier organization for maintaining the social security of the people. Apart from that, being my experience as a machine learning intern also, and as an imaging scientist also, actually after my 2017 18 graduation, as I have told you, I was preparing for civil service examination, and that was the major motivation from my own basic side, that I has to be in the public service or public sector organization. So for after preparing for 3.5 years and giving mains, twice mains also, I actually could not able to manage it further, and then I had to join private firm for financial sustenance and all those things. So that's why actually particularly I've been in a machine learning sector right now. And apart from that, EPFO as an organization gives me that opportunity to work for my own like self motivation and self satisfaction both, and at the same time it has the overall background of working for the society itself in the welfaring manner. So that's why particularly I'm pursuing EPFO right now.
See, Ram, this reason which you are mentioning here, that is serving society, we are repeatedly hearing this from various candidates. But I think you can serve the people better being in your own field, because you have a very good working, you are having a very good academic background plus the work experience also. So don't you think being in private sector also you can serve the society or the section of society to which you want to serve?
Yeah. So both the sectors are like doing the same thing in a broad way. They both are serving the society itself. But the my self motivation and my own desires and my overall the way I had been like born and brought up, I had been inclined towards public sector organization from my start itself. And after seeing my father, who was also a retired public servant, and also my brother, who is also a Indian Railway Service engineer officer, so like that provide me a push towards public sector organization. Apart from that, being an working in a machine learning sector or private sector itself, I had tried it before also, as you have seen, you can see my as an intern also. But it has some like from my own personal motivation side, actually I did not find it that much priority over the public sector. So yeah.
See, the thing is, we have so many candidates who are very well suitable for for this job because they already aware about the legal provisions, legal laws. Plus, they are very well versed with the academic background, which is associated with the commerce background. Now, tell me, do you have any specific qualities which will be helpful for us to choose you as the suitable candidate here?
Actually, sir, as far as I concerned, um, I had the I had few qualities like I can take decisions based on the situation and all those things very quickly. I can react to things. I can manage those things very properly. I had shown that as my past experience at my hostel, like my hostel life itself at IIT Kharagpur, being a general secretary mess during that time. So I had those managerial skills which can be helpful in that purpose. Similarly, as a since I may not be of a commerce background, but studying at IIT Kharagpur, one of the most premium institutes of India with multicultural diversity and all those things, that have provided me confidence and much more exposure for dealing with any multidimensional task. And my capabilities at IIT Kharagpur also, and at my in my private job itself also, has guided me and showed me that you can do very well in any field basically. So be it commerce related or be it related to technical or be it social side itself also. So yeah, the things are uh, the basic thing is that I can basically learn things quickly and I can manage things very quickly. So I think I can find myself suitable for the job. Yeah.
Okay, Ram. So since you have a very enriching background in engineering, as I see, so can you tell me the basic difference between machine learning, deep learning, and neural networks?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, machine learning is a subset field of AI, wherein we allow a machine, we just provide machine the data, and being it is being learned without being explicitly programmed. While if we consider deep learning or neural networks, first let's consider neural networks, which are also a part of subset of machine learning. Machine learning as such a subset of machine learning which deals with the way our human brain works. It tries to mimic that thing. And if you consider deep learning is another subset of neural networks only, wherein the model's depth and strength is being the major parameters which decide the number of hidden layers, and all those things decide how much the deep the neural network will be and how much it will be able to learn those complex features of any image or any text or any other type of inputs.
Okay. So, so can you tell me that how, if you are appointed as an EPFO officer, as a labor officer, so how will you be able to use your knowledge from this field of machine learning and artificial intelligence in solving the labor issues of the country?
First of all, if I be selected as an EPFO officer, the major problem and the major mission of EPFO itself is about digitalization and making innovation through technology so that the social security organization's benefits can be reached to every single person of the organization and its members. So one of the major issue is about digitalization and the data processing and all those data itself. Like if we take example from the eShram portal, which is being launched for the unorganized sector. Currently, I suppose it has around 37 crores. Like it requires 37 crores people to be registered in that. So that data can be used itself for providing social security benefits of other kinds to the people, like the public sector, the PDS scheme, which is being launched for the for national food security itself. That itself can be benefited from the machine learning technology, while we can decide which geographical region or which type of people may require which type of food, which can be more nutrition is more beneficial for them, because as people prefer local cuisine and local diet for their own
That's
purpose.
very right,
Yeah.
Ram. That's very true. And you are establishing the same point which I mentioned that to develop all these things, we
Yes, sir.
need people from the technical background or technical specialists. And
Yes, sir.
we don't want to waste or you should not be wasting your academic excellence here being an enforcement officer, because here the role will only be to implement the policies. You will not be involved in policy making. You will not be involved in any kind of a data analysis or data accumulation and all. You will be just be an officer who will just implement these policies. So, ma'am is asking in that context, where
Okay.
do you, where we see you as an officer, and what are your qualities there?
So I suppose being a strong in technical background, I will be able to understand those things very well as compared to like other people also. Like I will be able to understand those things. Like if there is any requirement in that purpose, or if I will like, though I will be in a mode of implementation majorly, or I will be enforcing those policy itself, but the basic underlying principles of that policy and technical skills or maybe technology which is being used in those policies can provide me a little addition or a little push in that field, so that I will be able to provide my input in a more better way. So in a way, you can say that for management and for implementation those policy, my technical knowledge can be helpful and can provide me a better push among others also. Yeah.
Okay, Ram, have you heard about generalist and specialist conflict in administration?
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware
What
of
is
that.
it? Please explain.
Yeah. So journalist and specialist conflict has been arise due to the differences between the in the service arena itself, wherein the IAS officers are generally considered as generalists because their specialization, their specification or the curriculum for the examination itself it's a general thing, wherein they are supposed to learn those general ideas, general knowledge things, like they are considered to be as jack of all but king of none, something like that. While in the specialist case, like they know here and there about health, here and there about education also, they know about all the policy related to technology also, but in the case of specialized implementation, they are supposed to be at the uh, at, at the general level. Their knowledge itself from the journalist perspective is limited to that general point of view only, rather than going deeper into those specialist field expertise about a specific domain. If we consider a specialist can be considered, for an example, an Indian Railway Engineering Service officer can be considered as a specialist in his own domain, wherein he is basically implementing and designing some structures or some engineering innovations and doing some things which are
Okay,
most
Ram.
probably will be helpful in that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got that. Okay. So, can you tell me that do you think you will also face such a conflict if you are, if you join EPFO, you have this specialized knowledge in AI, machine learning, and all, and you might have a boss who is most probably a journalist. So, you might also face such conflict. How will you handle that situation when you have a proposal and the boss is not ready to implement that? As sir also said, that you have to just implement the decisions, you will not be part of the policy making process or technology induction process. So how will you handle if you have a good perspective or a different perspective from the boss that you see in your organization?
Ma'am, as a neutral thing, I would trying to nudge my boss in a manner so that he will be. I will basically tell him.
How will you nudge?
Yeah,
That
I
is
will
the
tell him all
question.
the basically all the pros and all the cons of those things and all the basic attributes which can be helpful in his own decision making in that way, so that the technology which is going to be implemented can be beneficial for all. So I would like to provide him that perspective in that way, manner only, and we'll try to tell him that if we use this type of technology, if we use machine learning in that field, it would be beneficial for all the people working in the organization itself. So that is the manner I will go through that. I will try to pinpoint all those things, and will also try to make him aware about all the pros of this technology itself.
Okay. So can you tell me that how can you use artificial intelligence or its applications for the welfare of women labor force in India?
Ma'am, as such, again, if we see from the women perspective, since our around 90 to 93% population are in organized sector, unorganized sector, and of top that also, I suppose, if I'm right, around 80 75 to 80% are women. So in that case, also again, the data itself, which can be provided for us, the basic insight about how they are working, in which conditions they are working, what they are supposed to be doing in that field and what technologies can be provided for upskilling them. Similarly, apart from that, the if we see from the gig workers point of view, women are also working in the gig economy also right nowadays, be it Zomato as a deliverer, if we see from that perspective, or as a perspective from the unorganized sector wherein they work as a household workers or something like that. So in that perspective, we can say that the data itself can be provide us some insights wherein we can see and see which type of welfare schemes can be implemented for a particular group of people or how it can be managed in that.
Okay, so you are repeatedly emphasizing on the relevance of data.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
tell me, what are the issues that India faces in utilizing the already huge amount of data that we already have with our government agencies or even with the private sector? What are all different kind of issues that India faces in utilizing them in a proper manner?
Currently the most important the problem is that the data is not in a very structured manner. Rather, it is being haphazardly being dealt by all the organizations. There are many major organizations are having the data, but there is no convergence between all the organizations. If we see from the example itself, let's say we have a data of a midday meal or some any scheme which is being majorly implemented, the central sponsored scheme which is being majorly implemented by the state government. If you see from that perspective, the state government and central governments are on majority of issues or majority of schemes of social security, they may not be on the same line of thought itself. So the data which is being provided at the state government level, which is the major field experience body, but the state government itself, like they are not having any integration with the central government. So this is one of the problem. Apart from that, data protection issues, for which there is a data protection bill also, which is being suppose as far as I remember, it is being the standing committee has provided the report in 2021 itself regarding those changes. It has to be made in data protection bill. And apart from that, ma'am, the integration and data protection security, I suppose there are some dearth of skills in the bureaucrats also, which has to be dealt or they need to be more upskilled for management of that data itself. Because as we can see that from the IAS point of view or from the district magistrate or administrative point of view, people have a lot of data at the district level, but how they are managing their they are managing their staff, they are nudging their staff to work in a more digitalized manner. That is one of those problems wherein the government staff itself are not being regularly nudged to
Okay.
work on digital technologies.
Okay, Ram. So the one more question that so you are saying that we need to skill up bureaucracy. So don't you think that people like you who have so much specialized skill, they should go rather in the engineering services? Why EPFO then? You should opt for Indian engineering services instead. You'll be able to better serve the government in that way and the society also. And also in the private sector, you can work if there are limitations in the Indian engineering services. So in that way, as sir also asked you, we feel that you will be able to contribute to the society in that way better than being an EPFO's enforcement officer. So what
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
have to say about that?
Yes, ma'am. First, ma'am, as you have also again mentioned that there is no like avenue for Indian engineering services for AI and machine learning engineers, and there is majorly in the core domain itself, be it electrical, mechanical, or civil engineering. But yeah, the major point of my line of thought was training and giving learning new skills to the Indian bureaucracy. So being a part of that Indian bureaucracy itself, this technical experience of mine can be helpful for my colleagues also and for me also and for the overall organizational benefits itself, so that I will be able to perform very well on that and I will be able to nudge my other fellow employmates also in that way, so
Okay.
that they will
Did you get
settle.
any placement after your college, after your degree?
Ma'am, actually, the internship which I had done in my fourth year itself, I had received replacement offers from them. So, and apart from that, I did not have set for the placements.
Okay. So, okay. Right. Okay.
Hello, Ram.
Hello, sir.
Ram, can you tell me 3 of your strengths and 3 of your weaknesses?
Okay. One of my strength is, you can say, is the part where I can find myself self-motivated towards any task. Can be in terms of persistence, or you can say dedication to the service itself. And the
Right.
second one of the second one strength is about the management of people around me itself. It can be in terms of family relation. It can be in terms of my friends. So I can be very good at managing my relations itself, so at the both formal and informal level.
Okay, and your weaknesses?
And my weaknesses right now, it's like I haven't thought of much, but yeah, one of my weakness I can say that is, as people pointed out to me, is that whenever I had a conversation with people, I may tend to overspeak rather than listening to what people are supposed to say. Like
Okay.
I have to
Right.
think on that
Ram,
perspective.
keeping your disability in mind,
Yeah.
do you think that is your weakness? Do you consider your disability as your weakness?
No, sir, I don't think so.
Okay. And
Actually, like it can be, it's a strength, if you can say in that way, rather than a weakness, because it always provide me that self motivation to do good. Basically, the
great.
strength
And
which I have. Yeah.
how do you handle criticism? If someone criticizes you, how will you react?
Yeah. First of all, I would try to basically understand the meaning of that criticism, and I would try to listen. I will try my best to listen to it, and then we try major whenever any of my friend or any of my colleague or anybody has criticized me in some manner or another matter, I try not to react. I try to just listen to it properly first, and then note it down in my mind basically. Or if I suppose it may happen, I will also note it down
Right,
in my
right.
laptop or phone
And
also.
how do you handle a stressful situation?
Yeah. So it may so happen that I had been in stressful situation during my college days itself, at my tenure as a general secretary mess also in my college. So during those situations, I tried to first make myself calm and try to first think about the purpose where I like, for which basically I am doing this particular job or particular steps or tasks. Then automatically most of the things work in the good direction.
And Ram, can you have you heard of any recent updations in the labor laws?
Yeah, as far
Can
as
you
I
count any
remember,
two
yeah.
of them?
Okay, so if we see from the labor codes perspective, in the industrial relations code itself, wherein there are, I suppose, four laws is being merged into a single one, or three, I suppose, three is being merged into a single industrial relation code. In that perspective, the government has increased the number of employee in any organization for the taking the prior permission in case of retrenchment, closure, or layoff. That is one of the most, I suppose, important
Basically,
provision.
you are talking about code on industrialization.
Yeah, code on industrial. Yeah.
Provision with respect to the number of employers on which the code applies. So, specify me the numbers.
300 at such in the case of retrenchment, layoff, and closure.
What was the earlier criteria?
It was 100. If I'm right. Yeah.
So, tell me why the trade unions are agitating against this provision or this proposal?
Sir, actually, the proposal is being seen as a threat wherein the employer can use it in the negative perspective of the labor, wherein they can hire and fire people at their own choice because the number has been increased from 100 to 300. So they did not require permission in that case. So that is the number itself, the increase itself is being become the main reason.
Don't you think when we already have such a job insecurity in the country, specifically with respect to unorganized sector, and we are doing away with the provision with respect to job security in the organized sector now, with this with the addition of these kind of provisions, don't you think the trade unions demand should be accepted by the government, at least for this provision? It should be changed.
So, as far as my thoughts are concerned, I think that the government decision regarding the increase in the number of people for that requirement of that permission itself is one of the positive step in case of if it sees from the ease of doing business point of view. which is being the major agenda for the government in that case. If we see it from the job insecurity or job security point of view, government is also taking other steps for generating those new kind of jobs and reskilling them and upskilling them. Since if you see in the same code itself, if I'm right, there is a provision for reskilling fund also, wherein some amount of money has been provided to the retrenched worker who is supposed to be like layoff or retrenched or from that job
Ram,
itself.
there have been few changes few days back in the labor laws. Have you heard of them? About the working days, the PF contribution. Have you heard of it?
No, sir. For as far as I remember, the PF contribution is 12% only, which I like. I think it can be of previous fact, which I cannot. I'm not aware of the new policy.
Okay. And do you think any legal rights for the disabled have been mentioned in the constitution?
In the constitution itself, there has been mentioned in the DPSP article 41 regarding the right to providing. It's a kind of, if you see, an overarching directive which has been provided by constitution for the for the provision of right to work for and social security for old age, disabled, and if I am right, it's also for
Is anything mentioned in the Article 21?
Article 21, if I am right, it's about right to life and liberty, and there are many other derived fundamental rights which is being mentioned by Supreme Court from time to time. And yeah, I'm not able to understand, remember exactly the provision regarding
Okay.
disability.
And talking about artificial intelligence, have you heard of Sophia?
Yeah, I had heard of it. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So what I remember is that she is a Russian robot who is
What
supposed
type of robot?
humanoid robot, you can say.
Yes.
So she's a humanoid robot who is supposed to interact with other people and doing some task which has been assigned to her. So yeah, she can have a conversation also and she can react to things also.
Right.
All right, Ram, last question from my side. You were giving ma'am answer with respect to artificial intelligence and your academics. You mentioned about how the things can be made online or how the technology can help in the governance also. So tell me two initiative of EPFO through which it is helping its subscribers.
So actually, two initiatives are made. So I had learned about them, but right now it's become very difficult for me to figure it out of them. So yeah,
I expect this answer from you because, as you said, that you yourself have many ideas with respect to how technology can help in EPFO to improve, or your role as an enforcement officer. So at least your idea, if not the initiative of EPFO, then your ideas.
Okay. So my ideas can be in the terms of, if you see from the Ishram portal itself, which I had mentioned earlier also, regarding the registration and all those things. EPFO, what EPFO can play the role is that they can make a particular application and use that particular data from the Ishram portal to provide social security in some manner to the unorganized sector also. So that is one way the data can be used in, we can say the PF facility can be provided in some manner, or the employee pension scheme can be provided for them in some manner, so that they will also be come in the formal sector itself.
All right, Ram. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Ram, let's start with your feedback part now. First of all, when we already asked you to don't move your chair so much, you are still moving it, not a little, but a lot. Okay, so you cannot sit in front of a panel and revolve your chair like this. It's disrespect to the panel first. Okay, and accordingly, you are using many informal words also during your interview. I can mention one here, that is yeah. When someone put a question to you, a panelist put a question to you, you reply first in a yeah, and then you reply your answer, and in between also you use this. And the major issue which all of us has noted, that is long answer. You are given too long answers. That is not acceptable, because your interview will not last for 10-15 minutes more than that. If you keep giving such a long answers, because then interviewer will not be interested in your answers at all, and they will just
Yes.
and it will be a disadvantageous thing for you, because then they will not be able to evaluate the various aspect of your profile.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so you should keep your answer short. You have the answer, that's the right thing, that's a good part, but you should be very much clear that what has been asked and what I should give answer, or in what way I should reply, or fulfill the requirement of the question. Okay, so that is one thing you need to do. While taking any kind of guesses, you ask for the permission or you mention that. That's a good part. But if you are not very much clear with the thing, then don't guess. Okay, unnecessary you are stretching your answer in that way. Okay, so this is from my side. And one more important thing, that labor laws are not being revised. When you are saying that technology will be useful for EPFO or your role as an enforcement officer, you should be having the examples also. You not even mention one single example here of EPFO. That's not a good impression, because your whole candidature is depending upon this thing, that you have a good academic background and that you will be able to use here. If you are not able to mention EPFO's own policies or initiative, then what we can expect from you? Okay, so you should be aware about all the technical or e-governance initiative of EPFO and other government bodies also. Okay, the initiative of the government of India. You should be
Yes,
very
yes.
well versed with it. Otherwise, they will just simply make the judgment that you are not a suitable candidate. So this is the one thing on which you need to work. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, can I say, or okay, so you will? Okay, I thought that you are the one who is giving the feedback in the hall. She will also, ma'am will also give some feedback. Yeah. Sorry.
So all the panel members will give their own feedback to you.
Yeah.
So I mostly agree with whatever sir has said, as you also identified in your weakness that people say that you speak more than what is required. So that is the issue with your answers here also. So you have very good answer, you have very good content. It shows that you have control over your subject. So you can deal with those answers very well, but you should know where to stop. Do not just keep stretching your answer to such a length that the panel is bored by just one answer of yours. So try to limit your answer to two to three lines, right? That is the first thing that you need to do. And also, since you have such a good knowledge, specialized knowledge in artificial intelligence and all these fields, try to be more innovative while answering whenever measures are asked. So do not give just generalist answer that we can process data and use them. See, any person can give that answer. Even non-engineer can tell about data processing and making its use. But as a masters, you have masters in artificial intelligence and you have experience also. So if you can think of some innovative measures that especially EPFO can take for the welfare of their subscribers, then that would add more points to your interview. So try to be more specific. If you can innovate and think of something good while answering there, they'll definitely ask you that how will your engineering or your educational background be helpful for EPFO. So if you can give a more specialist point answer, that would be useful for you more. Otherwise, generalist answer you can give, that is not a bad thing. It's just that you will be able to create an impression if you make it more specific, right? And also try to answer in the point wise fashion. Structured, unstructured data, that is the first thing. Do not elaborate much on one point itself. Just give 3 to 5 points to whatever question has been asked to you, just quickly. Do not elaborate on one point so much, right? That is what I can say. Be little brief. Avoid using informal words like yeah, you use a lot. And there also you can get a rotating chair to sit on. So please do not keep rotating it all the time. It's very, very disturbing.
It's one of the,
So yeah, otherwise you are good to go. Just try to implement whatever you can from this feedback.
yes, ma'am, definitely.
Yes, Ram.
Yeah.
First of all, I will mention that You said that you think of your disability as your strength. I liked that a lot. This should be the spirit, right?
Thank you, sir.
And your introduction was not proper. Like what sir asked you in 2 to 3 questions, you should have included all those things in your introduction, right? About your family, little bit about your work ex, and what are you doing right now, right? And what are you going to wear on your interview?
Sir, I will be wearing a white shirt only, and I will be wearing a suit also and a formal pant. It's a
Why,
black suit.
and why are
Tie.
you not wearing it today?
Actually, I have just I was just traveling and just come out from
And
like
your
Thane to down my
your
hometown.
hair is also not combed. And
What?
about your facial hair, it's untidy.
Yes, as I have mentioned, sir, actually, just around at 12 o'clock, something like that, I have come. I have come
Do something about it before the
Yeah,
interview, right?
sure, sir. Yeah, sure, sir. I will be doing
Thank you
the
so much.
page
Thank you.
Nagar.
All right, Ram, what about your state? Have you prepared your state, your district, or Jan?
Ujjain, I had prepared in the, from the point of view of the heritage which Ujjain
When?
has. Yeah,
When is your interview?
sir. It's on 4th only. Sir.
When?
4th July, sir.
4th July. Or so you don't have much time now.
Yes, sir.
The good part is everything is workable. Just go through the new initiative of the EPFO, current affairs associated with EPFO, and all the current affairs of at least 2 weeks. Okay. So these 3-4 days current affairs were very, very crucial for you. Okay. So your labor laws, accounting, these all associated current affairs you should revise now. Okay. This is what you should be doing right now. And apart from this, current affairs, as I said, current affairs are very, very important for you. So you should be very well versed with the current affairs of 4th July also. Okay. Why we celebrate 4th July? Why America celebrate 4th July?
Sir, I suppose it was the constitutional day from America.
So you need to read on that also. Okay.
Yeah.
And plus, what is the significance of 1st July? What?
1st July effective GST, I suppose it's being launched on 1st of July if we see from that.
Government has come with an environmental protection or environment related provisions or environment related initiative this 1st July. What is that?
Said
See, this is the thing, na? If you go in the final interview in this way, you will definitely make good. You will basically lose many of the marks if you are not aware about the current things. Okay, single use plastic is a
yes,
news of the day.
I remember that now.
So you should
Yeah.
be very much clear with this. So that's why I'm saying that you should be reading the newspaper now in a very proper way, plus editorials, and you should read that day's newspaper also. Okay. So all other aspect has been covered. You should be working on work experience also. You should be using your work experience in a positive way. So introduce yourself if you get the opportunity to introduce yourself, na, or somewhere if you can include, you should include your family and your work experience also. Okay. That's not much, but you should be mentioning it because it will be able to cover your gap years.
So can I ask you one thing regarding this introduction itself? What I'm confused whether I should say in which manner I should say it, because when I completed that, I have completed my graduation and my post graduation.
Ram, repeat your question. What did you say?
In which manner I should complete my introduction? Because with when I say I have done my graduation and my post graduation, something like that from IT Kharagpur and electrical engineering department. After that, should I mention I had for the last 3.5 years I was preparing for civil services, and then I'm currently working as imaging scientist.
It will be good because ultimately they are going to ask you. So it's better if you put it in a proper way so that it can influence them, not in a negative way at all. Okay, so you could just mention that, or you can just mention this in this way that while working, you are also preparing for UPSC. So it will give a good impression instead of saying that you are just preparing for these 3 years or 4 years. Okay, you can mention that because ultimately you haven't mentioned this in your DAF. So in a
Yes,
way, it will be helpful.
Yes, sir.
Okay, your def is all only talk about your internship and tell the panel good thing about your internship also, what you have learned, what knowledge you have gained. Okay, so this will helpful. For example, while explaining your academics, you mentioned about the thing that you were secretary to the mess also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a good thing that you are adding these points. So similarly, use your internship and work experience also. Okay,
Yes, sir.
any other question?
Sir, I'm also confused regarding why EPFO question, sir. Because why EPFO? Because
Why
the way,
you have
yeah,
a good answer? You already gave a good answer with respect to that. That you want to use your knowledge and skill for the betterment of the marginalized worker. So that will work. But additionally, you should be adding that it's a great opportunity to work for such a large organization. Coming from this background, academic background, I see a good progression for myself in this career. So you mention all these things. You have the aptitude. You have a good connect with the people. So mention all these things. It will work. All right.
yeah. And the sir, with the strengths which I have mentioned were they like in an appropriate way? Because I have not prepared that question itself. I just made it up during that the same time when you asked.
You mentioned 5 to 6 of your strengths like persistency and many more things in a single line. You can use them in 1 to 2 points, right?
Yes.
If the panelist asks you 5 of your strengths,
Okay,
and you
sir.
will keep thinking these are the basic questions. Okay,
Yes,
that
sir.
is your personality question. You should be able to answer it on the spot, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And that people management skill which I had tell you was
Which
that
one?
also
Which
the
one?
people management skill which I had told you the
Yes, yes, that is okay. That is okay.
that
That
was
is
fine,
a
right?
managerial skill. That
Yes.
is good. No
Okay,
issue,
sir.
right?
And yeah, apart from that, anything which I had to prepare like from the labor loss perspective, should I go deep into
There
each
is
and
a
every?
recent update of 2 days back. That is why Deepak sir said, be well versed with the current affairs.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Check those ones. Okay. You could be asked about that.
Sure, sir.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Ram.
And yes, sir, sure, sir.
All the
And
best.
regarding that constitutional provision which you were asking regarding that to me regarding
You
disabled,
can,
is
you
there
can,
any provision?
you can use
Like,
that in like Article 21 is right to life, no?
yes, sir, it's right to life.
There is a slight mention for disabled people as well. Read
Okay,
that. Okay.
okay, I will read that.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
sure.
much. All the
Thank
best.
you. Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir.